Hello to all. Happy Monday. We all had to watch Raw today. Welcome to the Pinfall podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I am joined, as always, by my other host, Mark, who is today joined by our special guest host, who never actually does her job.
She's on the floor right now, and you'll probably never see her. But she's
Guaranteed.
here in spirit.
Well, happy Raw Day. It was something.
It was
I don't know if
good.
it was good.
I thought it was good.
Right.
There was some bad stuff.
There was some questionable things that happened. Specifically, a lot of the stuff that felt like they just kind of were like, hey, we've got to put a show on in like an hour. What do we do here? But, alas, another Monday gone, another Monday in the books, and another Monday closer to Hell in a Cell, or as I like to call it, Yak.
Oh, I thought you were making the Finn Balor sound.
Well, sort of. Every time I see the acronym, that's all I can think of is just like somebody coughing up a lung or something, like just yeah. Which does really sound like Finn Balor. Wow.
Yeah.
I miss him so much.
2 days.
No, not 2 days. We won't see him on Wednesday.
Oh yeah. Might see his face in like a montage.
Yeah, I guess.
So the news?
Yeah, may as well. We're gonna be here for a long ass time. There's so much shit to talk about today. Personally, though, not a ton of news. Not a whole ton of it. News.
Do you want me to start with what I got?
Yeah, I mean, you said you wanted to.
Okay, so WWE posted on their Twitter a video of the spinning wheel from NXT's Halloween Havoc, the wheel that will decide the stipulation for Johnny's and Candice's matches, and the video is kind of one of those screenshot and see what you get kind of things, but it also shows all of the options on the wheel, just to kind of give us a taste of Halloween Havoc and what we might get as a stipulation come Wednesday. So the choices are Bikers Chain match, whatever that is, Buried Alive match.
Isn't that like AJ Styles?
I guess, yeah, the Boneyard Brawl or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
This one's really interesting. Devil's Playground match. No idea what that could mean.
I don't like that.
Boiler Room Brawl.
Ugh. Sweaty.
What I feel will be the actual choice. Shotzi's choice. Weapons Wild match.
Oh god, these are so bad. Sorry.
Trick or Street fight.
Is that just a street fight?
Yeah.
But for Halloween?
Yeah.
No.
TLS, which this is in very small
Tables, ladder,
letters.
stairs?
TLS.
Yeah, table, ladder, stairs, right?
That's stairs?
Okay.
Or is it
Oh.
straps?
See, Oh.
Tables, ladder, straps? Tables, ladder, stairs? It might be stairs.
Stairs just rhymes with chairs. That's why I thought, because I saw that on the wheel when they first showed it on Wednesday. Oh, I am. Hi. So sorry. I'm knocking this damn thing over.
Almost looks like tables, ladders, and sewer. But I'm pretty sure that's not what it is.
Tables, ladders, saucers?
Tables, ladders, skulls?
Okay, I'm looking it up. Keep going.
There's also the Coal Miner's Glove on a Pole match. No idea what that could be.
Sorry, read that again?
Coal Miner's Glove on a Pole match. Probably like a pole with a coal miner's glove on the end of it that you use to jab your opponent with. I don't know. Blindfold match. That could be really funny. A casket match, which again, similar to the Boneyard Brawl. And then last but not least, Chamber of Horrors. So
I want them to somehow choose all of them just so I can find out what the fuck any of them are. I looked up TLS match, and the internet was like, do you mean TLC? I was like, no. No, I don't.
Did find... I found a page that lists all the stipulations, but they don't explain TLS at all.
I know that I'm reading something about a coal miner's glove match.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to climb up a pole, get a coal miner's glove that has a steel bar taped across the knuckles. That sounds ridiculous. That sounds like some bullshit somebody made up one day.
And we're probably gonna get it.
That doesn't sound real. Like, that just sounds like the fakest shit in the world.
Again, we're probably gonna get it.
Well, anyways. I'll put my bets, though, on us being Table's Ladder Stairs.
Okay.
Table's Ladder Sticks.
I'm gonna say tables, ladders, and skulls. Because it's Halloween themed.
Alright. Maybe it is sewers, dude. Maybe you just have to hit somebody with one of those sewer plates.
Yeah, or maybe it takes place in a
Would
sewer.
be. They just shove all the tables and ladders down there?
No, it's just raw underground.
Ah, no. You don't want that. Alright. Now to get to the less interesting news. So let's start with the thing that tonight wasn't a very good indicator for. But according to Dave Meltzer, Lana's getting a push now towards the title. Which the thing is that I don't really know how much that even means anymore, because Peyton was also getting a push. And then Peyton was paired up with Lacey Evans in a tag match tonight, so.
I think getting a push doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get the title. It just means you're gonna get a push towards the title. Which is what you got already.
Into the announce desk.
Yeah.
In addition, Tino Sabatelli, or Sabi, has been re-signed to the WWE after allegedly.
Allegedly.
Thank you, sir. After allegedly, I believe he is the reason that AEW had one of the same things that happened with NXT during the Great American Bash, where something was spoiled at the end. And I believe it was kind of pointed out to be his fault. And now he's back with the WWE, so take that, Chris Jericho.
A little fishy. A little sketchy.
I mean, it's wrestling. If it ain't sketchy, it ain't wrestling.
Liz, if that was happening with AEW, if whoever leaked WWE went over to AEW, would be flipping shit right now.
Yeah, but the thing is that, again, a lot of the news sources that I use to report the news, they're pretty unbiased. They follow most of the wrestling brands. Unless this was a while ago, and it may have been, whatever happened was not that big, because the Great American Bash thing was in several articles for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard of anything as far as AEW having anything leaked.
Mm-hmm.
So, And to be fair, I was equally as pissed off about WWE's guys leaking WWE stuff and then staying with WWE. So there's no bias on that one. Sin Cara, as you know, because you mentioned this while we were watching it, and I already knew, and then you ruined my news piece. Sin Cara accidentally unmasked on an Instagram live stream. Not bueno. Slightly less than bueno. I misread the headline, though, when I was first reading this article. And I thought it was just saying that a WWE person did this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I knew it would come down to this.
You thought it was Lindsay?
I can see it happening.
Yeah.
And finally, in our bridge news section, which is probably for the best because our debate over what TLS was took us a little while. According to the WWE, 205 Live is now ushering in a new era. It is now completely under the NXT umbrella and has essentially been on death's doorstep as far as ratings are concerned for the past however many years, considering the fact that I think like 5 people watch it, including Drew Gulak, while he's commentating. But apparently they once again have high hopes for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it wasn't under NXT's umbrella in the first place, though, considering 99% of the people on 205 Live are NXT talent.
It's very much... I think the way it's kind of tiered is it's below NXT, because a lot of the mainstays on NXT are like enhancement talent on... Or on 205 Live are enhancement talent on NXT. Like Tony Nese, Tahuti Miles, Ashante Adonis, Swerve maybe a little bit. Leon Ruff was on there a lot.
I mean, I'd like to see it become something.
I just want to... I watched clips of when it was like Murphy and Cedric Alexander on 205 Live. And it looked really cool, much better than it looks now with like Swerve and Tony Nese. And Drew Gulak too, when he was a part of it. I feel like they're kind of missing like prospects for the main roster, rather it just being 205 Live people.
Yeah. And there used to be a little more of an overlap too. Because like the cruiserweight hadn't been really defended on a pay-per-view in a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I know that they used to, because I know we watched a couple pay-per-views where the cruiserweight title was being defended.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you froze. Oh, the Wi-Fi is out. Alright, folks, stay tuned one moment. The Wi-Fi will be back in a second. Meaning Liz will be back in a second. In the meantime, I will be riffing as the Wi-Fi comes back because somehow I still have internet. Let's see, do I still have internet on my phone? I do. I do. One moment, everybody. We'll be right back in a second.
Well, I see you. You probably won't see me. Oh. Hey, can you see me? Bleh. Oh, you didn't shut my fucking door.
Alright, sorry about that delay, everybody. We're back. Little internet hiccup. So where
As
were
per
we?
usual. I believe we were about to move on to the actual show.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So let me just exchange this out. Welcome to the show, Pete. I see you. See you've joined us. What you doing?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would
Being
you
a little
rate
bit
today's
smelly?
show?
Hmm?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate today's show?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Really? That high?
Oh, man, I thought you. And you were saying that you really liked it, so I was going a little higher than I thought.
I mean, what would you rate it? I'm not asking me, I'm asking you.
I would rate it. Like. I don't know, 6.5 maybe. I give it credit because like there was some original content, but also there's just some stuff that they keep fucking up, and it's like driving me crazy.
Which we'll get to in just a moment because it starts off pretty bad. Not immediately though. Not immediately. So, this is at me actually. So we start off with Alexa Bliss in the ring, funny enough, and just standing there menacingly. And the Fiend comes in, and they hold hands like a weird couple.
I called them Team Spooky Hotties.
The way they stand there is like the American Gothic painting.
Literally.
Yeah. And then right behind them, Retribution comes in. Weird. I did not want this feud to happen. I watched the Retribution logo come up and I was like, please no. Please no. Please. Don't ruin the Fiend like this.
Little do you know, Raw doesn't care about your opinion.
Very few things did I think SmackDown did better than Raw. And this might be one of them.
Okay.
And then right behind Retribution, after they kind of circle around the Fiend and Alexa Bliss, Hurt Business comes in. Well, actually, prior to Hurt Business coming in, Fiend and Alexa Bliss disappear. And then Hurt Business comes in. They start brawling with the Retribution guys. And then we move on to the first fight.
Yes. So I mean, hello, hi, hello, yep. To be fair, while I don't love the Fiend and Retribution, I also like want to have an open mind because they did give us such a promising storyline with Braun and Bray. And then they said, just kidding. We're going to make it fucking suck. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, okay. Okay. Thanks. So, keeping an open mind for once in my life. All right.
Yeah.
Slapjack versus the Hurt LLC.
What?
What?
Just Slapjack?
Just Slapjack.
For a while, it was just Slapjack.
Yeah. Just kidding. We start with Lashley versus Teabag. Lashley just demolishes poor T-Bone until T-Bar ends up kicking Lashley in the face. Then there's a flatliner from Lashley, and Slapjack is in. Or Slapjack. Maybe I'll say a prayer for Slapjack today. That boy took a beating. He gets planted into the mat. Cedric kicks him in the back of the head. Jack goes to suplex Cedric, but he fails, and then 5 seconds in. Gotta make one mistake. Cedric then sends him back to the canvas. MVP gets in, and he is fighting Mr. Applejacks. He whips him into the post, tags Cedric in to do a little chiropractic work, kicking him in the back. Then a kick in the head, pretty much kills a little jackalope, and he falls through the ropes. And I said, I think he's actually dead. He just kind of ragdolled out of there. He like Charles Robinson, that shit. He was just like, farewell.
And then everyone was telling him to get back in the ring, too.
Not Dio Madden came to his rescue to kind of just like usher him back into like a Weekend at Bernie's standing position. Gets up onto the middle rope to attack Mr. Slapstick, and Dio spooks him just a little bit, giving Jack Johnson a chance to throw him backwards into the canvas. Then we have Mustafa versus Cedric. Mustafa stomps on Cedric's bicep, does a little takedown and a drop kick into the spine. Cedric then slugs Mustafa, and Mustafa sends him over the ropes onto the apron. Cedric gets up onto the top rope, and Mustafa takes him, sending him face first into the buckle. I am not sure if it was meant to happen, though. It didn't look like it was. It very much looked like Cedric a full face into the buckle as opposed to 2 hands.
I think it was supposed to happen.
Really well. It just looked really messy, and the messier it looks, the more I'm just like, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. Mustafa then decides that Cedric is not paralyzed quite enough yet and sends him neck first into the constant enemy, which is the barricade. Then the Hurt LLC comes to kind of argue with Retribution about how they've been treating Cedric. And then the Fiend appears. And then the same thing happens that's happened before, where the Fiend appears, and then it's just like, commercial break, we're back, he's gone. Anyways, you're like...
Although, it went to black, and you could hear people scrambling. Like, people were freaking out. I literally heard someone shout, "Where is he? Where'd he go?"
Yeah. And then we come back and like the match is still happening as if nothing happened at all. And I was like, So then we have not Dio Madden versus Shelton Benjamin. They're slapping each other for a little while, and Dio just kind of starts choking Shelton while clubbing him in the face, which I was like, that's a different move, but sure, whatever gets the job done. Dio does a run up, and Shelton sends him into the pole. Sorry, the cat just stretched on my arm, and I thought it was her teeth. It was not. It was her little toe beans. But yeah, Dio like does the weirdest shit. He's got Shelton in the corner, and he says, okay. Takes like a step back, hits backwards, and then runs up at him. Do absolutely nothing. He goes right into the buckles. Then there's a German suplex to Mace and a pump knee strike to him. Shelton does a drop knee on not Dio Madden's old head. Lashley gets in. Dio kicks Lashley in the face, and then Lashley sends him out of the ring, and then starts attacking every other man in Retribution. There's a little spine buster to Mr. I was making jokes in my notes, calling people different names. I didn't remember who Pepper Spray was. And then I remembered Mace, and I was like, aha. Anyways, so there's a spine buster to Pepper Spray, and then a crossbody spear to Teabag. Mustafa cowers away from Lashley while Sleepy Time T grabs him from behind, and then gets absolutely full Nelson, taps out, which made me want to just absolutely just had a bit of an aneurysm on that one. Then the Fiend and Alexa Bliss are there, and the Fiend, or actually, it may have just been the Fiend. But the Fiend comes in, he's like taking shit over, he's getting mad at Retribution. Mustafa doesn't even recognize that he's on the apron with him until he gets knocked off the apron. He nearly Sister Abigail's Mr. Mustafa Ali, but T-Bar comes out of nowhere and does like a very promising kick to Bray Wyatt's head, or the Fiend's head, rather, to get him off of his benevolent leader. And then somehow the Fiend locks in the mandible claw on T-Bar, which is interesting because his mask definitely does not allow for such movement into the mouth. Just me. Like mandible clawing Hannibal Lecter. But Abigail's him, and T-Bar is ostensibly dead.
Until later in the show.
Yeah, he's dead for the moment. He gets reanimated, though.
Mm-hmm.
But he's breathing real heavy later on.
It's not T-Bar that we see later on, it's U-Bar. We've already gone through A through S. Now T. Now we're on
Can this be
U-Bar.
Crowbar? Crowbar in honor of Halloween?
So after that, we had AJ Styles in the ring, chatting it up, talking about. He mentioned Seth Rollins. What?
Bodyguard.
Oh yes, he comes out with a bodyguard. Jordan.
Mr. Jordan.
Do you know his last name? It's like Omad.
It's like, okay. Hang on, I can look this up right now. Jordan Okay, I probably won't fuck this up. Jordan Omogbehin. It's Omogbehin. So Omogbehin.
Okay.
Omogbehin. Jordan.
Yeah, he comes out with Jordan as his bodyguard. For some reason. I don't know why. I assume it's because of Retribution. I think the real reason is because of Matt Riddle. But AJ comes out and he starts talking and mentioning Seth Rollins and giving his goodbye speech on Raw the other day, a week from today. And it's just bullshit that AJ's spewing. Matt Riddle comes out, continues to spew bullshit. They have a little feud. We're gonna basically carry the SmackDown feud into Raw. That's basically the gist of it. We're not starting anew. We're just continuing the bullshit. And
Oh, sorry.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say that we mustn't forget that Mr. Spider, the referee, tells AJ that Jordan has to leave the ring for the match.
Right.
And AJ's like, no. And Spider's like, okay, let me just talk to the man directly. Hey, Mr. Jordan, can you get the fuck out of here? And Jordan just grabs his wrist, and poor Spider. Poor Spider's doing his spidery best, but it's simply not enough. Where are you going? Oh, God.
And then he says, I'm gonna have to forfeit you if you don't get your bodyguard out of here. And then Jordan leaves, and then starts our second match.
Mind you, Jordan leaves by walking over the top rope, which is just fucking horrifying. It's not right.
Just stepping right over it.
I saw Braun do that as well, but even Jordan does it with a little more ease, and I was like AJ Styles is walking out there looking like a goddamn child with his father. Horrifying. Anyways. There's a kick to Riddle's stomach and then a few jabs. Riddle begins kicking AJ in the chest. There's 3 in a row gut wrench suplexes to AJ. You do not have to use the toilet right now. 4 bathroom breaks in one day is more than I even take.
So.
But yeah, 3 gut wrench suplexes to AJ. Matt Riddle says, I'm just going to use up all my energy right now. I wrote AJ Styles and Bodyguard versus Matt Riddle with STDs. That's funny, Elizabeth. Come on. Anyways, I like my notes. I think they're funny.
Yeah, but you laugh at them like you're reading them out of an ad-lib book.
We're gonna turn my notes into like Mad Libs for mass consumption. But
it's just blank lines. Like there's no text or anything. You have to just write your own notes.
How would you book this match? So Riddle's why that was just a mess up. Riddle clotheslines Styles out of the ring before jumping onto the apron to further his attack, and Jordan, sweet Jordan, love the man, says absolutely not. You'll roll right back in there, you little bitch boy. So then there's a knee strike to Riddle's spleen before AJ stomps him, gets a waist lock on the kid, and then there's an overhead kick to AJ's face and a suplex of Styles. Riddle then misses the kick to the face, which made sense. Okay, he does like the running kick. AJ brings his head down to avoid it because he's laying on the ground. Then he just moonsaults over him. There was no interference whatsoever. He just moonsaults over him. Like, I didn't know why that happened. It didn't make sense to me. And then he attempts his little senton. And AJ lifts his legs and launches him in the opposite direction.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw, Splucha. Then there's a pump knee strike to AJ and a Pele kick to Mr. Riddle and a German suplex to AJ. Then there's a knee to the back of Riddle's head and a fisherman suplex to Styles. Somehow that was not enough, even though Riddle had AJ basically in like a koala hold at that point. Riddle then gets up onto the top buckle and AJ's up on the top rope. Riddle elbows Styles off of that. Styles comes back up and they're just punching. Riddle has like 1 foot on top of the goddamn post at this point. They're punching each other and Riddle falls to the floor while AJ falls to the middle of the ring. Matt Riddle basically bounces because he fell so far. And Jordan immediately like comes up and he's like, I think literally his foot slipped off the turn pole, or whatever it's called.
It made me feel uncomfy. Made me feel very uncomfy. But Mr. Jordan comes up and is like, back in the ring you go, my dear. Styles then kicks Riddles in the face. With Styles being plural, basically, I keep wanting to say Riddles, and Styles kicks Riddle in the face, and then there's a Styles clash that Matt Riddle will not comply with almost at all. His arm keeps slipping out from under AJ's leg. And AJ Styles wins. Which then prompts him to celebrate in the middle of the ring while Jordan just goes,
perfect.
Ed. Like, yes, Jordan. King.
You know what entourage we need to bring back?
What?
The Miz's stunt double. I watched old matches of Miz with his stunt double as his aide on the side. His stunt double would literally mimic every single move that he did. Every move he did, every hit he took, he would try and mimic it. It was amazing.
Oh my god. And now we have Johnny Drip Drip for that, so.
Yeah, but he's too good in the ring for me to want just on the sidelines.
Good in the ring to be a tag team person, that's just me.
I mean, to be fair, how much tag team stuff are they even doing? I feel like this is the first tag team match we've had with them in a long time.
We can talk about that later because I got some shit to say.
Okay. But in the meantime,
however, you get a promo.
We have an interview with Drew McIntyre.
Must we call it what it isn't?
So,
my God, man.
Who was it? Charlie comes up to Drew and is like, "Hey, Drew, can I ask you some questions about your match on Sunday with Randy Orton?" And Drew says, "Sure. Give me the mic."
He's like, "You know what? Let me just take over." And I was like, "Of course. The man can't answer a goddamn question." Love my Gemini Prince. All he knows is talking.
And then he basically talks about, he again says, "Whenever we're in the building together, I will beat your ass. Anytime, any day." And he mentioned, it's the same stuff we've been hearing between these two this entire time since Payback. The only new stuff we've gotten in this feud since Payback was the stuff with the Legends when Randy beat the shit out of Rick, Christian, Big Show, and Shawn Michaels.
I do want to bring up a thing though, which is Drew. He just did an interview with Metro UK about the match coming up. And, like, I know that a lot of the stuff that they do, obviously, is kayfabe. I'm not stupid. But it does kind of make you wonder sometimes, because Randy Orton did have, like, a really shady past where, like, he got into trouble a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of stupid shit. And he was never thrown away by any means because he kind of had that legacy position because of his father.
Mm-hmm.
It does kind of make you, like, wonder, like, I know that, like, Drew McIntyre's whole thing is that he's not bitter about this shit. Like, he understands, like, what he did is his fault. Like, he was taken away from WWE because of his own shit.
Yeah.
And that's totally corroborated in his whole documentary. But you do have to wonder if there's, like, some bitterness, like, for real under the surface where he's like, I fucked up, like, twice, and I got shipped off. You fucked up, like, 41 different times, and no one said a word.
I mean, at the end of the day...
you do have to wonder if there's, like, a little...
At the end of the day, you need to remember that Drew McIntyre, along with every other WWE wrestler, is an actor. They're actors, they're performers, and Drew, being as talented and smart of a performer as he is, I mean, so talented that Vince has literally told him that he doesn't need a script. He is one of the few wrestlers who doesn't have a script for promos.
Shocker. I said shocker.
Yeah. He probably, although he's not bitter, he probably just looks for material to use in these promos that's real. I mean, we saw it especially with Heath Slater. That
hurt me.
Yeah, that was painful. But he probably just saw a correlation and thought that it would be amazing to use in a promo. He was probably, I could imagine him giddy about it the night before, like, I cannot wait to use this in a promo.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And again, his whole thing for, like, the longest time has always been, like, I don't blame anyone but myself. Mm-hmm. So it does give room for me to be like, well, maybe he's not, like, bitter about it, but I don't know. I'm a bitter bitch, so I would probably 100% be like, Randall.
But immediately after that, we have
all right, so do you want to talk about
our next fight?
I was gonna say, do you want to talk about Lana's big title push?
Oh boy. Well, okay. Dude. I think we're kind of gonna say the same thing. She looked great in this match.
She definitely didn't look bad. She didn't. She just deserved maybe, like, 3 more minutes.
I will stand by what I have been saying since she came back to wrestling. she looks fantastic in the ring. I love her
She
gimmick.
looks better every day.
I think she's a perfect contrast to Asuka. She is very talented.
Yeah. I just definitely think that she deserved, I don't know, a bigger build up to this. Like, it really just feels like they filmed a couple promos for her about Mickie James. They were like, hey, you know what? Maybe we could use her. And then they just didn't bother making any sort of like real story, because originally Natty and Lana were going for the tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden Lana's like, no, singles. I was like,
yeah, they might.
okay.
They could go two ways with this. Either she is persistent with the women's Raw Women's title and keeps challenging for it, or her and Asuka form a tag team. Because as we saw in the end with Nia and Shayna.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Also, I just want to say, Lana's whole thing, and I've seen like 41 articles about this recently from like 3 different videos. Her whole thing recently has just been crying on camera. To be like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. It's like, the first time I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
Did you?
There's been like 2 more videos since she did it in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like,
Did you hear about the video she did with Liv Morgan where she drank egg yolks?
yes, I
Drank
did.
raw eggs.
And then she said that she puked like 3 times, and Asuka was like, I just did, and I puked 4 times. And I was like, ladies, I'm happy for you. Anyway, having some nasty fucking forearms to Lana's face. And there's an arm drag to Asuka. Lana narrowly avoids the Asuka lock by grabbing onto the ropes. Then there's just some really clean leg work from Lana to Asuka. She kicks her in the face and then brings her leg around, turns it over, kicks her in the back of the head. I was like, if I did that, you would hear my hip pop in like Georgia. Then there's an elbow sent right to Lana's face and a kick to the underarm. They're exchanging blows for a little while. Lana avoids being suplexed. Then, the Asuka lock, Lana taps. Nia Jax and Shayna come out. And I'm going to be really honest, I'm sure a lot of people are probably complaining about it. The weekly Lana Samoan drop into the announce desk fuels me.
It's so
It brings
good.
me some perverse joy. And it's nothing against Lana. It could be any other female on Raw that this happens to every week. It is just consistent, and I'm like,
you know what? I disagree with you. I think the fact that it's Lana makes it even funnier. Not any like you said, not anything against her, but I think based on who she is, just being like, she just returned to wrestling, and she's just every week getting sent into the announce desk for no reason whatsoever. Like, she hasn't had a feud with Nia Jax at all. She's just basically a bystander, just being picked up. First of all, pointed out, picked up, and dropped.
it's just like, Lana, assume the position. We know it's gonna happen. Get down there. Let's go.
The best one was last week when we had that battle royale. Nia Jax, just angry, finds the nearest woman she could find, which happened to be Lana, and send her through the desk.
She was angry at Shayna.
Yeah.
Like, she was mad at Shayna. That was the whole thing. I was like, I get it. Okay. Lana's like, you're stress ball.
Yeah.
And then the best part after that, though, is that, like, then when, like, we go back to the announcers for at least, like, 3 more segments, the announcers don't have desks, so you just, like, see all of them just, like, awkwardly sitting, like, all right, and our next match. Joe looks like he wants to kill Tom. Byron doesn't look like he has a care in the goddamn world.
Byron's just looking
They're all
like
just
this
vibing.
the whole time. Byron's like this.
No, because Byron's either off, or Byron's, like, just so happy to be alive, and Joe just always is just like, oh Jesus. Joe's always just like,
have you seen Byron's Twitter?
I check it out every once in a while if I need like a good video to watch to make me happy.
He's so funny.
He's lovely. He's a
That
lovely man.
that video of him riding the tricycle. He's so funny.
But yeah, after Lana gets thrown into the table again, Shayna attacks Asuka. Asuka kicks Shayna in the face and then hip attacks her off the apron. Nia is so sweet and just checks on Shayna as Asuka escapes. And then it's your turn, buddy.
Yeah, so we had Nia and Shayna in the ring together. What was even talked about? I don't remember at all.
Alright, so first, Nia and Shayna comment on the fact that people are like, oh, you guys aren't good enough friends because like they don't follow each other on Instagram. And she's like, but we are friends, sort of. And I was like, ladies?
Yeah, they addressed that fact first, and then they're like, but we're like the best. So if anyone wants to come out and challenge us, you're more than welcome to. You're not gonna win, but just come out and challenge us. And then we have I was trying to run through in my head what women's tag team Raw has, and I was like, there's nobody. There's not a single tag team. And then Dana and Mandy come out, the only other women's tag team there is on Raw. And then Lacey Evans comes out. And then Peyton Royce as her tag partner. How insulting to Billie Kay.
Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, you break up the Iconics. One of the most beloved women's tag teams. What was that?
She's just headbutting the tripod.
Oh.
Causing a little bit of damage.
But the Iconics were one of the most beloved women's tag teams in WWE right now. And you broke them up to give Peyton a singles push. And then, like 2 weeks later, you have her on a tag team with not even her original tag team partner. With Lacey. Somebody who doesn't even make sense for her to be even on a tag team with Peyton. If it was like, if you put her with like Mickie James or something, fine. But Lacey is too much of a character to have her just on a mixed tag for no reason. No reason at all.
I mean, sorry, I feel like I keep interrupting.
I was going to move on to the next tag team that comes out.
Oh. Well, I've got something to say about this.
Yeah.
I get why they did this, because like Peyton probably brings in a couple more viewers than Billie. She's generically hot in the blonde way that a lot of people like. Personally, I think it's anti-brunette. It's fine. I'm not bothered. Anyways, but obviously, they're not going to put Peyton and Billie back together because they broke them up for a reason. And if they brought them back together, it would it would need more explanation than shoving her with literally anyone that they could think of. And they were probably just looking for an excuse to bring Lacey out during this first episode of Raw for the new season.
I mean, but because right now I feel like Peyton isn't heel anymore. She's kind of a face, and putting her with a heel is a weird move.
But the thing is, ultimately, I mean, the whole point was that like they don't get along. That was very clear.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is it's like, I don't know. I don't know how the ratings work and all that, but I can't imagine that any ratings would really take a massive hit if they put Billie in there instead of Peyton, just because Peyton's supposed to be her whole thing was that she's taken out of this tag team because she's getting a singles push.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Just put Billie in, because that was not the reason you took her out of the tag team. You took Peyton out.
Right.
Put Billie in, and then at least we get to see Billie, and I don't have to sit here just like twiddle my thumbs. Like, why is this happening?
Or even like, don't put Peyton in at all. Don't put her in. Have it be a
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
have it be a triple threat tag team, or have it be
Oh yeah,
like Naomi and Mickey James come out, something like that. And Splusha just said, let's break it up all the women tag teams to create crappier tag teams. That's exactly what they're doing, because they're trying to backstep. They're trying to just save face right now after doing this, and they know it's not going to work.
and I don't want to bring this up like I do almost every single time that we talk about any women's wrestling, but that's the one thing that works so well with the tag teams on NXT that we've been seeing is that, like, I never feel like we're just getting this tag team that was shoved together for God only knows what reason. Like, you know what I think happened, honestly? Lacey's a good wrestler, sort of. Peyton's a pretty good wrestler. They came out, hated each other. Maybe they're testing the waters, like, well, people love Nia and Shayna and they hate each other. We had, like, the blonde version of that.
Or
I don't know.
Or they're setting up a feud. Setting up a feud where Lacey goes up to Peyton next week and says, hey, you ruined this match for me. And then that's the singles push for Peyton.
I would quicker bet money that we will never see the two of them together again.
I feel like that would be a good matchup. I would quicker
bet money on that.
I would rather see that than Lacey and Naomi. But
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. But I'm thinking something. First thing I'm thinking is that the women's tag team thing should just be put to rest for like at least a couple of like months until they can figure something else out. Because this is just sad.
Yeah.
I mean, Dana and Mandy are like...
Dana annoys me. I like Mandy.
And I also just want to say, now that I've been watching Total Divas, I don't even want to say like, oh, they're just relics of like divas, like wrestling from the past, because like it was still good back then. It was still pretty decent fucking wrestling. That's just it's.
And then the next annoyance of this promo, Liv and Ruby come out.
That made sense.
I mean, it made sense. Like, it made sense for the New Day to have their goodbye match because they were splitting up. And they are the most beloved tag team in all of wrestling. But Liv and Ruby, they're not breaking up. They're staying together. They're just going to another brand. You don't have like Ray and Dominic didn't even have anything before coming over to SmackDown.
Right, but it's the tag team match. There's only one tag team belt for the women. Sense that they would want to give that impression that there will be an opportunity for it to cross over.
Yeah, I get that, but after having the draft where you have like this big importance on the brand split, and then to just say, fuck it.
I want to add one more thing before we get into the match, because I took about 5 notes on this match because I couldn't bring myself to care about it. I try to care about all the matches because I'm the one that has to talk about them. I couldn't. And I'll be honest, I couldn't. One thing I'm going to say, though, Nia and Shayna have the belts, so that's whatever. Mandy and Dana are brand new. They're obviously going to be part of this stupid-ass tag team thing. They don't have enough traction right now to say, oh, Mandy and Dana are the ones challenging for the belt.
Mm-hmm.
They need to find somebody who's challenging. Liv and Ruby make the most sense. It makes sense that they were there. I wasn't shocked that they were. But doing the 4-way tag match was just stupid. It could have just been a triple threat. No one would have batted an eyelash.
Yeah.
If anything, it became just more glaring that they don't have enough female tag teams. If they had done it as a triple threat, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
And I think a good way to kind of put up the guise of a female tag scene is to They do this on NXT a lot. They do a gauntlet, or not really gauntlet, but a kind of tournament where they could just say, "All right, so we're doing a WWE wide tournament to get the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Every woman needs to be paired up with another woman. So find a partner to go for this title, and then this whole tournament could span weeks upon weeks. That way we have the guys of a tag scene test the waters for new tag teams. Every woman kind of gets action, but really you're not doing much until you get to that finals." Yeah.
Or they easily also just like, even to not drag it out that long, if that's not what they wanted to do, they could have done the exact same thing that they were doing just on NXT for the men's tag titles. Danny and Roddy were paired up versus whoever the fuck else they fought.
Oni and Danny.
Huh?
Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch.
No. Remember? Roddy and Danny were paired up versus I think Wild and
it was Wild and Bartel, right?
Yeah. Someone like that. And at the very least that was like, okay, so we've got 2 weeks of matches now. If not 3, because you get the pair up, you get an actual tag match. You don't need that many people. It just...
They lack creativity right now.
They also fucked themselves by splitting up Alexa and Nikki. Kyrie left. Bailey and Sasha.
Iconics.
Then they split up Natty and Lana. It's like, you fucked yourself. In the wise words of DJ Khaled, you played yourself. You look like an idiot. And now it's just getting worse because it's snowballing. Yeah. And I have to watch Peyton and Lacey fighting together. It doesn't make sense.
Well, you want to talk about the actual fight?
Oh my god, I'd rather cut my own goddamn tongue out and then eat it.
You want to move on to the next bit?
No, I've got like 8 notes and they're not long.
Good, because the next bit is worse, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Well, at least that'll be quick to get through. Anyways, Ruby versus Dana. That's where it starts. Shayna breaks up the cover. Then it becomes a mosh pit. Everyone's fighting everyone. And like, then, you know, Nia and Shayna and Mandy and Dana, Rhymes, are all outside the ring. And Lacey, or Peyton somehow involved in it too. Lacey comes and dives out on top of them. And then the Riott squad are like, ha, we're a tag team for real, though. And they both jump off the post at the same time because it's synchronized swimming, except it's wrestling, and I wanted to kill myself. Anyways, we come back, and it's Nia and Mandy. Nia can't throw Mandy, somehow. Dana gets in, and they're both trying to suplex her, but then it's like, haha, but it's Nia, so she suplexes both of them at the same time. Then Dana and Mandy dodge Nia, sending her into the post. Dana does her stupid goddamn cartwheel into like little punch shit that she does. It makes me so mad sometimes. It makes me... When I inevitably go into cardiac arrest because my heart has like no muscle left on it, this will be why.
Mm-hmm.
Please sue accordingly. Mandy gets in. She takes Nia out. I lost track of everything that was happening. There was a pump knee strike to Nia. Then Shayna elbows Dana's crotch. Liv gets in off of Dana. Dana's pissed off about that. Liv comes in. She punches and knees Nia, then stomps on Lacey's back in that way that she does, where I'm pretty sure one day she's going to break somebody's nose doing it. Then there's double knees and a Riott kick to Lacey. Shayna stops the cover in the moment. She takes Ruby by the legs and like a fucking goblin drags her all the way out of the fucking ring straight into a Kirifuda clutch because Shayna is a goddamn queen. And then there's a Simone drop to Lacey. Nia in the moment says, night, night.
How
Insert.
did these two wrestlers become so goddamn likable?
I can tell you why. I can tell you goddamn why.
Because there's nobody else.
Because Mandy, Dana, Alexa Bliss sometimes, and 90% of the other female wrestlers have become just so sterilized fighting wise that watching like genuine fucking muscle and just like throwing your weight around has become like the antidote to all that, and that is exactly what Shayna and I are. It's just pure aggression, and I love it.
Yeah.
I know Nia is an unsafe bitch of a wrestler half the time. Fine.
I mean, like I've said before, with Shayna as her partner, she'll only get better. Plus, it's not just pure aggression. I mean, they have had so much more personality since they became a tag team.
It's just continue. I'll have a migraine by the end of the night if we don't.
Yeah, well,
continue.
you're gonna get one right now.
Yeah, actually, no. You know what?
We had Elias's unforgettable concert. And yep,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
unforgettable because it was bad. It was his Christian rock group doing the first song was Amen. I don't remember what the second one was.
I'm going in. It was Amen. I'm going in. That was the first one.
In.
I think I'm going in was the parentheses part of the title. Honestly, would have much rather have seen Shane's sweaty, coked out ass just talking about strippers and watching Dabakato slam some people around. I would have much rather have seen that.
See,
give me 400 camera cuts. I couldn't handle this.
See little coronavirus particles just flying through the air.
I miss her.
Yeah, we had that, and I was really wishing that somebody would just come out and smash him in the back with something. Really hoping. We kind of got it at one point, because after both songs were over, Elias was demanded an encore by somebody? Who wanted an encore? There was nobody in that audience. There were no crowds.
The voice is in his head.
Randy. And so Elias comes out with his encore, and somebody goes on a guitar solo or something, and he turns around and sees this guitarist with the hood up, back facing the camera, turns around, removes the
he can't actually play guitar.
He removes his hood, removes his mask, and it's Jeff Hardy. Shocker. And the weirdest part of this, but also the best part, was Jeff Hardy swung the electric guitar, the solid electric guitar, at Elias, hits the mic stand, and it just snaps clean in half. The base, the stand of the stand, doesn't move. It doesn't move an inch. That thing was glued to the ground. But the top went flying for some reason.
When they said that he was going to have a concert, I kind of thought it was going to be like the Orchestra of Pain, where I was like, aha, I get it. Instruments and makes sense. When that fucking piano didn't snap the way it was supposed to. Horrifying. Anyways. Poor Shinsuke. Anyways. I didn't think that I actually had to listen to Elias do music. And then he's not bad at music, but no, it's Elias. And I didn't tune into Raw for a concert.
Right.
I just was hoping Elias could find out who actually definitively hit Jeff Hardy with that car. Hit Elias with that car. But it's been 2 weeks, and I still haven't gotten it. So I need Elias to either make that snappy or Stop.
Oh, this reminded me of another piece of news that I forgot to bring up. After Clash of Champions, Jeff Hardy said that he is done with wrestling moves that have to do with his gauges.
Oh, I don't blame him. I don't want to see that shit anymore. Ugh. Ugh.
I'm surprised he waited so long to say it.
You know why he probably waited so long?
Why?
Old as shit now. Those earlobes aren't getting any goddamn stronger. My dude is probably like one wrestling move with those gauge holes from having two little flaps of an ear
Oh,
that are
God.
not connected. It happens. I've seen it. It's goddamn gruesome.
And I don't want to hear any more about it, so I'm going to move on to a much better promo.
I personally think that gauges are actually quite attractive. And then I see that shit and I'm like... And then Jeff Hardy gets clipped to a fucking ladder and I'm like, yeah, no. No. Can't do it.
Then we had The Miz and Morrison backstage. And then we see Tucky. So were The Miz and Morrison talking before Tucky came out?
The Miz was just basically saying, like... Sorry, my voice went really high there. I don't know what happened. The Miz was basically just saying, I don't know why everyone's so mad at me. I helped Mandy Rose. Now Otis can just focus on his contract. Like, I'm a good person. And then Tucky comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tucky comes in and was like, I know what you're doing. I know you used your connections with USA to send me here. Keep Otis at SmackDown. Also, your webcam is like all glitched out right now.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
No, I look fine. I look incredibly attractive.
You're all pixelated, all glitched out. Your bottom half is all green. The top is all white. I can't see you at all.
Should I turn my camera off and on?
Yeah, try that.
I'm gone. Look at my little dog on the Baphomet statue. So cute.
Okay, you are back. But you're... Oh, okay. You're good. So yeah, we had Tucky mention, like, you sent me here, you sent Mandy here, all this stuff. You're evil and bad man, bad man. Miz is a bastard man. And then Otis was like, no. Or no, Miz was like, no, I want him to focus because he's not a champion right now. And that's, yeah. Morrison said something funny. Can't remember. There wasn't much here with this promo to add on.
I just really want to quickly say, Sarah just sent me a picture that she said screams Elizabeth. And I just snorted. Anyways, I had to share that. I couldn't wait until we were done with this in like an hour. I just really like Johnny as a little hype man. I think that was really nice. I think that was good friendship right there, and I think he does a great job.
Yeah, I agree.
Continue.
Yeah. So after that, we had an interview with Elias, where he's mad. Yeah, he's mad about Jeff Hardy attacking him, and he challenges him to a match at Hell in a Cell. And yeah, basically it. That's happening. And I'm, it's gonna happen, whether we like it or not.
He was very upset.
Yeah?
He looked very sad.
Well, yeah. If I was putting together a concert, I wouldn't want to be hit in the back by my own guitarist.
Yeah, especially when you get your whole Christian youth group band behind you.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
And then after that, we had the New Day. New Day coming out, talking in the ring, and Big E, first of all, was on one of the LED screens watching them.
It wasn't yet.
Oh, well, what were they talking about here?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I really expected to be very sad with all this, but Xavier did like the quintessential I want to see something real quick. Yeah, okay. Xavier did the quintessential Virgo thing for me personally, which was he made a very horrible situation feel kind of good. Because he's almost your birthday twin.
Yeah.
He's September 4th. He made a very shitty situation actually seem quite nice. He and Kofi and they're doing it the same way they always do it. Very much old-fashioned New Day intro. And they're having fun. And little Sheamus comes out. Little Shaney. Basically just like, hey, I hate you guys. You annoy the shit out of me. Like on a constant basis. I cannot stand either of you. They say you're on 2/3 of the New Day. But it comes out as 2 turds because he's Irish as shit, which Kofi and Xavier make absolute fun of. And then they make fun of Sheamus for a while. Sheamus looks kind of like he's about to cry.
Wait.
As they talk about...
What did you say he meant to say instead of 2 turds? Oh, you froze for that.
Thirds.
No, every article I've been looking at says 2 turds. Like that's what he said. It was 2 turds.
Yeah, no, he meant to say 2/3. They were just making fun of him. Because it comes out weird when he talks. Because the TH is not a part of his language in any way.
Or he was doing a pun.
But then the way he looked when they kind of called him out on it did not seem like he was trying to make that pun. But then they talk about how Biggie his ashy body into a windshield, and Sheamus, for like the entire 2 minutes that they're making fun of him, 100% looks like he's about to like start crying.
Mm-hmm.
I know he was supposed to look angry, but he definitely looked like he was about to break down. I was like,
yeah.
Boy. But they, they're having fun, and the match starts, and Sheamus isn't wearing his stupid fucking coat and his stupid fucking hat and his stupid fucking tank top, so I was feeling good too. But shall we begin on a match that actually made me kind of having, like, I felt good. Also, Xavier made a point to say, like, after the whole 2 turds part, he was like, well, yeah, no, we're now on Raw, we're holding it down over here, while Big E is holding it down for the New Day over on SmackDown. So really, still the New Day, just dividing and conquering, essentially. I was like, what? Okay. I'm fine with this. So, we start with a massive little fucking takedown to Kofi, and then some Sheamus forearms nearly take Kofi's head off. Kofi manages to drop kick Sheamus. He then gets kicked in the face. Sheamus goes for the white noise, but Kofi flings himself free. Kofi then kicks him through the ropes and goes to dive out, but Sheamus catches him. Sort of. it sort of looked like Sheamus dropped him and then quite nearly grabbed Kofi's balls. I felt kind of bad about that. But then he sends him face first into the apron. There is a jawbreaker to Sheamus, and Sheamus starts getting like really pissed off. He punches Kofi before pulling against the rope and clubbing his chest. Billy backflex to Kofi. And then this is when, and maybe he had been there for a little while. I wasn't totally sure because I obviously was not paying that much attention to the fan cams and such. This is when Xavier Biggie. Oh, okay. I lost your camera for a second.
Oh. Am I back? Am I good?
I can barely hear you.
Really?
The first like few notes of like whatever you're saying always gets cut off. So when you say like one thing very quickly, I never hear it.
That's weird.
But when you speak in full sentences, I can hear it. It's just kind of like fades in.
It does the same for you too.
Thought it was just you. I thought I had the upper hand here.
No.
Oh, when I have my new AirPods on Wednesday, maybe that won't happen. Sorry. It's not that Biggie watching from the camera from the seats, if you will. It was really sweet. I was like, Biggie, no shirt, as usual. But then Xavier points that out. Kofi manages to free himself from a powerbomb and sends a knee to Sheamus's chin. There are some chops to Sheamus's chest and a dropkick, and then a flying clothesline to the Little Irishman. Kofi runs at Sheamus, and Sheamus dodges him. Kofi then jumps onto the second rope, jumps onto the third rope, off in like true frog splash crossbody kind of deal. I don't really know.
It was a crossbody.
It
was a crossbody. They said it was a crossbody.
Okay. Well, because he does it like in a sort of fun little way where it's like his back is to the person and then he comes off and twists. And I'm like, the control. Then he goes to jump off the ropes again. He is caught by Sheamus. Kofi is slammed into the canvas with like basically what looked like a deep six, but just kind of like no upper body effort whatsoever. Still looked like a hurt. Sheamus then goes for another attack, but Kofi kicks free. Sheamus tries to get the cloverleaf submission hold onto Kofi, which is really just a figure four, but Sheamus-ized, if you will. He's in the middle of the ring. It looks pretty bleak. He manages to try to pull himself towards the ropes. Sheamus pulls him back. Kofi curls up. It looks like he's about to be powerbombed, but he counters it and manages to roll Sheamus up. Kofi goes for the Trouble in Paradise, but his slam. Sheamus then picks Kofi up on the second rope. Or he picks Kofi up. He gets up onto the second rope with Kofi on his back. Kofi pulls Sheamus down from basically the top rope, sending both men backwards, splashed into the canvas. Kofi sets up for the SOS, but Sheamus rolls him up. Kofi head pulls off a Trouble in Paradise, and Xavier taunts him from ringside, while Kofi pins him to win their first New Day on Raw match. I didn't cry.
That was a good match.
I was spending so much time.
You froze. You froze.
Yeah, like
you froze from the beginning of that sentence.
Okay. I was gonna say I spent a lot of time with the Sheamus and Big E stuff where I was like, I'm not loving it. This needed to see. I really like this match.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's because it was properly motivated from the beginning. Sheamus was walking out from his feud with Big E and came out to just kind of make fun of the New Day a bit. And New Day clapped back. Sheamus was just pissed off about it, and it's better than the whole "I'm being disrespected" whole feud that he had, which led to Jeff Hardy feud. This was a lot better, and I hope we get. I don't want to say I hope we get more of this because the New Day should be doing tag stuff, but
I still think that just they could have done this. Especially because, like, we went from the Sheamus Big E feud, and both Sheamus and the other Xavier and Kofi got drafted over to Raw. This was a perfect way to hopefully package up the feud into like a nice little box and say, that was nice, we're done. But to also ensure that, like, hey, the New Day is technically split up, but the New Day is not split up. You know?
mm-hmm.
I think this was a great way to do that. And rarely do I say that I think that WWE handled anything well. But I think that this was actually handled decently.
I agree. And then after that, we had a very interesting Retribution promo. One that I'm mad at, for reasons. One that I didn't hate. And also, I'm going to show you the new Retribution logo. You might have noticed it on their clothing. But Mustafa Ali posted it to Twitter. And you might recognize it as something that exists in real life.
Oh, no. Okay, so I saw that on a little slapjack. Little slappy jacks.
That looks like the Black Lives Matter flag.
Does it?
Well, just keep that in your mind.
Okay.
And
okay, with a bunch of lines of cocaine.
Let me show you the Black Lives Matter flag.
I don't think I want to see this.
Let's see if I can find the right one.
I feel like I should know what this looks like.
I mean, why am I having trouble? I mean, this is basically it. This is basically what they do for it. It's basically just a black and white American flag.
Oh! Not good! Not good! Well?
I don't get it. Like, why the lines? You don't need the lines. You don't need that. Just have the R. Look like Robin.
Also, it's important to note that doesn't look like an R. That looks like a K. I thought it was a K from like the get-go. I just felt like it was a weird logo on Slapjack's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think too far into it.
Yeah, no bueno. Hopefully it's all just like a weird coincidence and Vince isn't doing some ulterior motive stuff. Putting the guys looking like Black Lives Matter as the heels.
Yeah. Normally when I see people protesting for Black Lives Matter, they also have the Hannibal Lecter masks on. That's a go-to, especially for Antifa.
Yeah.
It's all like something for now. Real quick, the like, I It doesn't help that Michael Cole made a comment in the beginning of like all this Retribution stuff where he was like, "It looks like they've taken a note from the protesters recently." I was like, I don't feel safe. Also, like, you consider Retribution as like, it seems like they're. I don't see them as heels because like it makes sense because I'm like, yeah, you're right. The WWE is a bunch of money hungry. But it feels weird when you consider the fact that like Mia Yim's in it, and if it is like supposed to be like this like villainization of Black Lives Matter or Antifa or whatever, Mia Yim's in it. Keith Lee is technically her husband or boyfriend or whatever, and he's had Black Lives Matter emblazoned on his shorts for months now.
You know, you're also forgetting.
There's a disconnect for me.
You're also forgetting Dio Madden.
Yeah, I am.
And also, Mia Yim is half black.
Okay, so furthering my point, that's basically it.
I mean, could all be a coincidence, but making a logo intentionally looking like a political symbol, whether it be from one, like any political symbol at all, not good. But with that said, we're gonna just leave it there because there's nothing more we can add without just beating a dead horse. Mustafa Ali is with Retribution, and Mustafa gives a lot of good exposition here. He says he gives a lot of reasoning for everything he's done, everything Retribution's done. He says he's capable of a lot of chaos and can do a whole lot with just a laptop or with a keyboard and a cell phone. And that should be hint enough that he was the hacker. That is a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That is a hint. It's enough. You don't need to say straight up, I was the hacker. You don't need that. Everyone can assume. Anyone with a brain can assume. He then goes on to say that he's had to sit at home for a while because the company can't make a buck off of the name Mustafa Ali. Which, great motivation. Fantastic. Don't know whose idea that was. Doesn't seem like something Vince would pitch. More so seem maybe something Paul Heyman would pitch.
It's very CM Punky, if you will.
It is. And then he just straight up says he was a mysterious hacker. Didn't need that. Could have been a little more subtle. And he kind of reveals that he wants to stop the greed and corruption coming from WWE, and he wants to help the people kind of being left behind, being forgotten and abandoned. I have a very strong feeling that Forgotten Sons are going to be a part of this. Because they're forgotten. And Mustafa
put Jackson Ryker back in whatever hole he fucking crawled out of. I do not want that again.
Mustafa literally says forgotten, which, I mean, it's a common word, but very similar shticks.
I will take Wesley. Fine.
They're both great.
Jackson Riker's a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
And we do not talk about Drake Wuertz and we do not talk about Bobby Fish in the same sentence. But Jackson Ryker, never again.
Yeah. And Mustafa then just promised the truth will be heard. Yeah. That's basically it. Maybe him and Elias are working together because the truth will be revealed on Elias's new album.
Like, will it though? Unless there's a specific song that says Sami Zayn hit me with a car. I don't know if it's really gonna unveil any truths.
Every song on it's a different hint, and each week a new song is going to be played. The first one is it wasn't just a red hair, red beard. Second week is he also had a big nose. Third week, it wasn't Sheamus. Fourth week, his name began with S though. Fifth week, his last name began or ended in N. Sixth week,
wait,
he's on SmackDown.
Seventh week is he's a socialist.
Yeah.
Take it away, boys.
Eighth week, he is a very good human being. Although he did hit me with a car. And then the final week, the crux of the album, it may or may not have been Sami Zayn.
And then in parentheses, legally I'm not allowed to comment on that.
Oh. So yeah, that was how did we get there? Oh.
I have absolutely no clue.
So
You're talking about Asuka.
After the Retribution promo, we had the Hurt Business backstage. And Titus O'Neil comes up to them and just congratulates them for what they did with the Hurt Business. And he does mention Ricochet isn't coming to his senses, stuff like that, kind of implying Titus is on the same side as Hurt Business. But then Hurt Business attacks Titus. Why? Who knows? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not a secret, but I don't know how to say this without like sounding like I'm in desperate need of being canceled. Yeah, I know. Not a great way to start. It's obvious that the Hurt is all it's for black men, which is a vibe. It's great, and it'd still be a vibe if they weren't also money hungry heels. That does that make sense? That it feels weird that we're grouping these four men ilk whole group of
You froze for most of that.
you did as well. Saying it's like there's only so many people of color on currently active in the WWE. Two who are in a storyline against each other with Roman and Jay. Jimmy's might come back. I don't fucking know. But Ricochet and Apollo were paired off together with Cedric and Mustafa. Pretty decent tag team. Ricochet and Cedric have recently fighting style, so does Mustafa. Apollo's back. He's just a lovely little figurehead of a man. He's got such a smile. Back to the comments I made originally when Forgotten Sons and Lucha House Party and New Day and Morrison were fighting against each other. and it felt very weird that it was Lucha House Party and New Day versus 2 white tag teams. It hasn't gotten less weird.
I mean, if you look at
go on.
If you look at almost every stable that exists in the main roster, it's mostly grouped by race. You've got the Hurt Business. You had Angel Andrade and Zelina. You had Apollo and Ricochet and Cedric. You had there's another in my mind that I can't remember. The Kabuki Warriors.
That makes sense because, like, luchador style makes sense to pair together. It's a very different style of wrestling.
That's why I didn't mention luchadors at all.
Right, but you mentioned Angel Andrade, which they still do some luchador kind of style moves.
But Zelina too.
And even Humberto. Yeah. But even with Humberto and Dominic, it's still very luchador-esque. And with Spooky Warriors, yes, I don't know. I still just come back to the same thing constantly, especially with Bobby Lashley. Where Bobby is almost always depicted as like this, like, almost non-human wrestler. Who's basically just like his brain is his muscles. And like the fact that I think it was Gio slapped him during their match today.
And he got all mad.
And Bobby just like went full aggro. And I was like, and that's what happens constantly between him and Apollo, between him and Drew. It was just like he went into like the red zone where all of a sudden it was just rage.
Mm-hmm.
And when he like does like the weird like in the corner, like that shit, I'm like, because of where Vince McMahon comes from, I always like look at this shit and I'm just like, I'm trying not to say anything. And I get it, like Hurt Business was technically supposed to be like a reincarnation of it, if I'm not mistaken, if I didn't misread all those headlines. It was supposed to be a reincarnation of Nation of Domination.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to what
feels weird right now.
When it comes to what a wrestler does in the ring, specifically regarding Bobby Lashley, that's all up to them for the most part. They might get some like tips and stuff on how to improve their image or how to appeal to crowds more. But for the most part, what they do in the ring is up to them. And if you want to look even further at who trained Bobby Lashley, he was trained by the Ohio Valley Wrestling, which, weird enough, was also featuring Randy Orton as a member. And they both share very similar distance kind of emotes, I guess, where they just...
I get that. It's very predatory.
Yeah.
Because that's Randy's whole fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being just a little creepy dude in the corner that's like... And I don't want to, like, come across as if, like, I know, like, someone's forcing them to act like this.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. It's just, like... But the way the world is right now... And I guess maybe, you know what? Technically, I guess, in a weird way, Retribution is more of a heel in the WWE's eyes as far as storyline goes than the Hurt Business, and the Hurt Business is like their main foe at this point. So maybe that's a good sign. I don't know. It's just with the way that Vince, with the way that we know Vince is as a person, it always makes me just kind of like, don't do anything bad, dude.
You're covering up your mic.
If they're happy, I'm happy. I don't give a shit.
But before we move on to the next promo, I just want to quickly mention that one of Bobby Lashley's ring names was Blaster Lashley.
Blaster Lashley was. I feel like Blaster Lashley and Kushida could somehow work really well together because Blaster makes me think of like Star Wars. Kushida's whole thing is Back to the Future. I'm smelling a 90s revival right now.
But after that, we had Miz and Morrison in the ring. And
Did you talk about Titus?
Huh?
Did you talk about Titus?
Talk about Titus? Yeah.
Blacked it out while I was trying to not sound like horror.
Also, I apologize everybody for Liz's lag today. She not a good internet day in this apartment for some reason. But when we go back to Miz and Morrison, Tucker comes out, and he says that they won't be laughing when he brings out his tag partner. And he says he searched everywhere. He searched around the world, the east, the west, the highest mountains, the lowest valleys. And he found a legendary luchador. And out comes El Gran Gordo, which is Otis in a luchador mask and cape. And El Gran Gordo, Spanish, means the big fat. Which doesn't make sense because Gordo is an adjective. The big fat. What?
Fatty.
The big fatty?
I kind of assumed that's what that was going for.
I mean, I just assumed it was Vince doesn't know how to speak Spanish, so he just said the big fat.
Otis doesn't know how to speak Spanish, Mark.
Okay, again, Otis doesn't know how to speak Spanish, so he just said the big fat. And then he's coming out with the Money in the Bank lunchbox, like always. And Miz is pissed. He says he calls him a joke. He continues with the insults. And he says he's gonna separate Otis from the briefcase, just like he separated Otis and Mandy. And separated Heavy Machinery. And then Tucker and Otis rush the ring, and they're all standing together, and boom, fight. Oh wait,
it's very important to know. Oh, okay, come on.
Miz also said that Otis looks like he ate Lucha House Party.
Yeah. Not only that, Morrison, looked like he was about to break down laughing for 90% of the segment.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a long ass segment because the Miz must have pent up all of like the dirt sheet content that he hasn't gotten to release into this nasty goddamn promo.
He was pissed.
He was hot. He was a madman. And Johnny didn't say a goddamn word for me % of the time. Like, you could see too, like, he was smiling so hard, like, and I know this move because this is what I do when I'm trying not to laugh, which is, and he was squinting for a long time. You could, like, see it in, like, his temple. You could, like, see the veins that were, like, don't want to laugh. Anywho, if you've seen one Miz and Morrison versus Heavy Machinery fight, you've seen this one too. Just Tucky in the corner, but he can't avoid the top rope crossbody from Tucky. The kick to Tucky's face. Johnny holds him against the ropes while the ref is. The Miz continues choking Tucky out on the ropes. The Miz gets in, he knees Tucky in the face, and then gets Johnny back in. So his face from both John and the Miz. There's a moonsault onto Tucky from Johnny, knees to Tucky's midsection, and a chop to the throat takes Tucky down to his knees. There's an armbar on Tucky. It's not really successful. This was a really weird moment where it looked like Johnny was trying to grapple with a man covered in like bacon grease. It did not look like it. But upper submission move to Tucky. The Miz got in just as Tucky began to elbow John. The Miz then went to go get him into it looked like a figure four, but he got kicked backwards. El Gran Gordo got in, sent some knees to Miz's face. John then got spiked into the fucking canvas before being sent over the top rope. There was an arm drag to the Miz and a power slam. The Morrison broke the cover. Tucky then threw Morrison into the canvas. Miz sent Tucky from the ring. And then there was R-Truth. He ran from the sidelines into the ringside area, quickly followed by Drew Gulak and Tozawa and a referee. And then Kalisto and Lindsay were also there trying to get the title. They saw Gordo, and they were very confused for a second because they were like, no one told us that there was another luchador in this fucking place. Distraction. El Gran Gordo took the Miz out. There was an elbow drop to the Miz, and then a frog splash in order to win. Sluvy.
Yep. And then some weird lucha music was playing for Otis and Tucky.
New walkout music for Otis, but God forbid they help Keith.
But I just love when Otis goes, Senor Toque! Toque! After the match, we are back with a New Day, and they're congratulating Heavy Machinery backstage. And then Mandy approaches them and gives a little gift of ham. Big old plate of ham. Yeah. They all celebrate and dance, and then they end the segment like that. And then after that, we have Firefly Funhouse. And that looks like a face of Revelation. Not a good revelation, I guess.
No, I just remember that we had lunch meat and that I could have a sandwich at any point in time. That's all.
All right.
It was not an important revelation at all. I did not mean to make it seem like it was.
All right, so we are in the Firefly Funhouse, and Bray, I almost said Otis. Bray's doing some unpacking of his boxes. He first pulls out a giant sledgehammer. And then he pulls out the sheep mask that Braun used to wear.
I thought you said sheep mask. I was like,
yep.
Self-care, I guess.
And then he pulls out a weird branding iron, looks like. Very strange. And then he said he was sad to leave his friends on SmackDown, but he's gonna make a whole lot of friends here. For example, Retribution. And then Abby the Witch asks Wyatt to keep it down so she can sleep. And then we see Huskus the Pig and Ramblin' Rabbit Ramblin' Rabbit says that he's going to promise to be a better husband and a better father. And then Bray was confused about him being a husband. I'm more confused about him being a father.
He's a rabbit. That makes sense. Husband?
And then we get flashbacks to him, to Ramblin' Rabbit getting murdered by either Mercy, Bray, or just life in general. And then, Bray says, the past is in our heads, but the future is in our hands. And then Ramblin' Rabbit is all happy because of that. And then Mercy eats the shit out of him. Again.
Very important to know. Well, who am I else could go by? Bray's like, hey, you have a wife? Ramblin' Rabbit's like, hell yeah, brother. And like, oh my god, I'll be a better friend. And that's when we go into the montage. That's important to note. Because, first of all, I know, crazy. But also, this whole promo was far too much for me to handle on a Monday. Friday, I would have been like, okay, yeah, sure. But on a Monday, after a weekend where I was relaxing, I watched this and I was like, what?
But after Mercy murders the shit out of Rabbit, we get the Firefly Funhouse introduction of Alexa Bliss. And they say they have a lot of surprises in store. And then we end the segment. I just want to acknowledge that they have completely killed the was it the Wobbling Walrus story? The new friend. Yeah. We haven't seen him at all.
I thought the Wobbling Walrus got eaten by potentially Mercy the Buzzard. Oh no, that was the squirrel. That was the squirrel.
No, that wasn't the squirrel. That was the parakeet or whatever died in the box. And then Wobbling Walrus, who was supposed to be Paul Heyman, was introduced.
Vince.
No, Vince has his own puppet. Vince is the devil. He is the devil puppet.
Okay. Yeah.
You not remember that?
Makes sense.
Hold on. Because they refer to him as Boss Man.
See, I've also had at least a couple of drinks, so I don't remember a ton of things, but
you will instantly
a cat tooth right in my finger.
This guy.
Ah, shit. How could I have forgotten that? Sorry.
He's even got the devil horns.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks that they scratched that storyline so we don't get Warbling Walrus anymore. So now we're up to Braun versus Keith Lee, and so it is up to you to walk us through this 2-minute fight.
I don't want to.
Okay, then let's skip it.
No.
We'll go into Randy.
No.
So.
I think it's important to note Braun's a good wrestler. Braun's a big guy.
Is he a good wrestler?
Let me get something out. He's a good wrestler. Keith Lee is a good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
This matchup is fucking awesome. It really could be. This could be like a really good matchup because they're both big ass dudes that are really goddamn scary. Hello. And they have some really cool signature moves. Now, hard to mention, the only reason this matchup is making me want to tear my eyeballs out and shove them in my ears is because they have put absolutely zero goddamn effort into the storyline of Braun versus Keith. The entire origin story of this fucking matchup. Like, I want to fight someone, I have bloodlust. It was like me. I really don't fucking care. Please leave me alone. That's the entire origin of this entire matchup. It makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
We could have Kane versus The Undertaker. That would be a crazy matchup. It would be so cool. But what do we get? Shit. They hand us shit on a silver platter, and I say, so I pay $9.99 a month for this. Thank you.
To be fair,
Definitely
you didn't
didn't
pay
wanna
for
buy, like, a
this.
This. Makes me so fucking mad. Just spit.
So,
It could be good. We could have Braun versus Bobby or something like that again. Very intense, very mad, angry, even. One could say angry.
Braun versus Titus.
Instead, we have two wrestlers that I have a lot of faith in beating each other up because they were there?
Yeah.
Not a reason.
Yeah. And they seem very angry at each other for some reason. So,
It's just so bad. Anyways, I'll start talking about this stupid fucking match. I'm very mad right now.
I know, but we gotta get through the show.
Anyway, okay. So Braun's just kind of assaulting Keith in the corner before clotheslining him over the top rope. Keith attacking Braun and his liver for a little while before splashing onto Braun. Weak as shit in the corner because I guess he's still ailing his Friday night injuries after getting speared 521 times by Roman. I think it was only once, actually. But anyways, let's pretend that it was a lot just to make this more tolerable. Braun then slaps Keith in the little cheek. Keith dodges Braun and sends him into the buckles. Keith takes Mr. Strobo and takes his little feetsies out from under him, sends him down to the canvas. Then Keith is standing over him. It's a bad move because Braun then lifts his little noggin up and teabags himself, thusly causing Keith Lee over in MF pain. Then there's a kick to the face of Keith, and Braun wins, but it's not over, I guess, because then Keith's like, hey, how dare you knock me in the balls, and he just kicks kicks Braun in the balls as well, and doubles over. Keith is really mad. He says, you haven't seen the last of me. Do I smell Hell in a Cell? Maybe. Do I smell TLC? Probably. It's like if someone handed you $1 million, like, yeah, $1 million is great. But where did the $1 million come from? I just want to know. It came from nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. You cloned 1 million single dollar bills. Thanks. It sucks. I'm mad. Anyways, sorry.
So after that, we have the Viper's message from hell.
Bye-bye.
And Randy slowly, so goddamn slowly walks out into the ring, into the cage, locks the door behind him so he can just sit in the ring until Sunday.
Holy crotch shot.
Yeah, he brings a chair into the ring, sits down, crosses his legs, and we get a nice view of that crotch of his. And he recalls every match he's had in Hell in a Cell. 7. And he goes through one by one. He's destroyed various opponents like Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, John Cena twice. I think the vibe we're going for is that has Randy ever lost Hell in a Cell? Is that the vibe we're going for?
I suppose not.
And they're all soon to be Hall of Famers. He's earned respect from The Undertaker, stuff like that. He mentions differentiation of legends and legendary moments. For example, when Drew won the title from Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. But then, Mr. McIntyre.
Shirtless
McIntyre holding the belt. He stops at the door, realizes he can't get in because there's a chain. And I was really hoping we would just see him Claymore kick that door in, smash, just break the chain, snap it right open. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I like raising my hand. I feel like it's like a nonverbal like cue in case you don't hear me. Just gonna say, my dream scenario here: Claymore kicks the door, gets in there with Randy, and he's like, whatever. But then for all of Hell in a Cell, you just have this slightly bent door because they only have one cell. That would have been ideal for me.
But Randy gets in Drew's face through the cell and says, "Hit me, just hit me. Come in here, break the lock, or wait till Sunday." And Drew says, "Okay." Reaches behind the barrier and pulls out some bolt cutters, which he then just cuts the chain. Randy panics, not realizing that somebody left the bolt cutters there.
As you do.
Yeah. And grabs the chair, slams it down, already bends it in half. It's already bent in half when he does that. Drew steps in the cell and stares at him. They have a nice long stare session. And then we fade to black. And that's a show. Congratulations. Raw's over. We now have NXT on Wednesday. Last Raw before Hell in a Goddamn Cell.
Mark.
Yeah.
I think you've missed the iconic final line of Raw. Your ass belongs to me.
Oh, I thought it was your ass is mine.
More or less. But it's your ass belongs to me. Frankly, if we're going to finish a show on any note, your ass belongs to me. It seems ideal.
Yes, Blucho, we are reaching a breaking point because I never thought I'd be tired of a storyline between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. But no, they've given us the same thing for like 4 straight weeks.
Tired of it. To be fair, this is the smack on the face that I need every Monday. Just seeing these two goddamn idiots fighting, especially when they're fighting a chain link fence. It sort of feels like two old men arguing over their like little yard fence.
Oh yeah.
It's just, first of all, Drew coming out with no shirt on. It's like, there's no obvious like situation where they're going to be fighting.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a cage around Randall, and Drew just comes out topless, and I'm like, I don't really understand what's happening here. And on top of that, for Randy to be like, well, I'm gonna be here until Sunday, bitch. It's like logistics of that are all completely fucked up. Are people like sending you meals through like the chain link or something? Or are you just eating baby carrots for the next like 5-6 days? Sure.
Daniel
whatever.
Bryan, Seth, and Roman just walk out, and they're like, he won't leave.
That's the thing that I'm also thinking of. It's like, Randy, you do realize that on Friday they need to use this ring. You can't be in here until Sunday. It's not gonna work like that. You gotta. Friday morning comes around, you're gonna be kicked out, dude. People gotta train. People gotta film. But I guess he's just vibing in there now.
Yeah.
Or Drew McIntyre owns his ass entirely. Both are options. I'm not here to judge.
Well, we are here to judge, actually. We're here to judge the bests of the night.
Honestly, I also just want to judge. If I could trade coffee or even alcohol for anything, it would probably be Randy Orton's walkout song. Every time it comes on, I'm just like, breaks me a little bit.
All right, so I'm gonna wait till you get the sign, whenever that'll be, maybe Wednesday.
Right now, calm down, Randall.
Calling me Randall?
No, I'm impatient.
All right, so promo of the night. Today was a good promo day. I do think so, in my opinion. We started off with the Alexa Bliss themed introduction to Raw, along with Retribution and Hurt Business. I think this was the perfect way to start a season premiere. You got your big factions shown off on display right off the bat, and not in a too unnatural way. The Fiend and Alexa are looking awesome. They're looking like American Gothic. You got Retribution, being Retribution. You got Hurt Business coming in, wanting to fight Retribution, not knowing that the Fiend and Alexa Bliss were just there. Great way to start the night, in my opinion. And we had AJ Styles talking in the ring right before the match. It was, it's one of those pre-match ring talks. Then we had Drew being interviewed, which is just him stealing the mic and making a monologue. You've heard those 50 times by now. Then we had Nia and Shayna in the ring, which was nice. Kind of a little update on their relationship, on their tag team, how they're doing and everything. And then we had the concert. Goddamn Elias concert. Can I just have a moment of silence for my patience with Raw?
Yeah.
All right. So after that, we had the Miz and Morrison promo featuring Tucky. Tucky. I actually really enjoyed this promo. Tucky. Yeah, this promo was really fun. Miz and Morrison are always great. Tucky, he's got some fuel behind him. He's got some energy behind him today, and I loved it.
He got a good fucking promo today.
Yeah.
I was really happy with that.
He did. Especially when he was introducing Otis. He did a great job. And then we had an interview with Elias announcing the match for Hell in a Cell. Or Yuck. And then we had New Day talking in the ring prior to their match with Sheamus. This was great. This was fantastic. Just because of Sheamus's reactions to getting bullied by the New Day. he wanted to cry.
There was pain in those eyes. There was absolute pain.
They called him Ashy.
How can you be ashy when you're that pale? Ash and pale are the same goddamn color.
And then we had the promo with Retribution, which would have been fantastic had they not just, were just the opposite of subtle. Just punched you in the face with the reveal. What's up?
Don't put that on Retribution. Put that on Mustafa. Slapjack did nothing wrong. Actually, Slapjack looked fucking shocked when Mustafa admitted that he was the hacker. He was just like, it looked like he was fidgeting with something in his mouth, but ultimately, it was 100% just like.
I hope what it actually was he had some food stuck in his teeth from Crafty and was like trying to get it out.
Spinach. Oh.
Thought they were still in rehearsal.
I love Slapjack. I just want him to be happy.
Oh, don't you know?
I hate Shane Thorne.
Don't you know Shane Thorne is never going to be happy?
Dude, I don't like Shane Thorne. Slapjack, though? Yeah. Love Slapjack.
And then we had the Hurt Business promo with Titus O'Neil. I don't get it. I don't know why they attacked Titus. Doesn't make sense. Then we had Miz and Morrison in the ring. Huh?
Titus just seemed so into, like, he's like, yeah, I'm doing Hurt Business. And they were like, yeah, sure. No, fuck you. And I was like, what are the rules? What are the rules for joining the Hurt Business? Because I don't get them.
The Hurt Business is you get hurt. That's the business. You want in on the business, you get hurt.
So they have to beat Titus up like 3 more times before you can be offered the opportunity to get in.
It worked on Cedric.
Yeah, but Cedric never came to them and was like, hey, I want to join. Titus did.
Okay, yeah, but Titus didn't go through his 4 beatings. I mean, even Shelton went through his beatings. He had to fight Apollo like 5 times before joining Hurt Business.
How much longer am I going to be teased the opportunity for Titus O'Neil to come back to wrestling?
He's already back.
Wrestling.
He's already back.
An event doesn't count.
It counts.
It does not.
It's the same as dark matches.
What's the point of a main roster?
Alright, well, after that we had the promo with the New Day. Actually, no, we had the Miz and Morrison in the ring where Miz cut a passionate fucking promo. Goddamn. And El Gran Gordo was hilarious. And this was great. This was great. John Morrison looked like he wanted to just cackle the entire time. Everything about it was fantastic. And then we had Firefly Funhouse, which is very fun. Very much in a house. Huh?
Firefly?
Yeah, very Firefly-y. It was great having this kind of progress in the story with having Alexa Bliss come in, but also having the fun with like the Ramblin' Rabbit. That whole bit, so funny. And yeah, I just loved everything about this promo. It didn't add too much, but I think just the right amount. We got a tease at like a new weapon that Bray has now. So yeah, And then we had the Viper's message from hell. Which this was lame. This was lame as shit. It didn't even end with like a Claymore kick or something. It just ended with them having a stare off. Nobody's asses got beat. Drew just opened a door. That was it. So my verdict is pick for promo of the night for October 19th, 2020, Monday Night Raw is Firefly Funhouse. It's the best put together promo there was today.
I'll give you this. Mostly because I have hopes that your other two picks will be more with what I want. I'll take this. Mostly also because I love a good Firefly Funhouse, and we have not had that many good ones. It's like post, I think, Payback, if not post SummerSlam. Whenever we got the Walrus, that was probably the best
that
one.
was post SummerSlam.
It was post Extreme Rules, actually.
Yeah. No, it wasn't post Extreme Rules because it was when Roman was introduced to SummerSlam.
Okay, yeah. So happy with this. I'll take it. No,
it was post Payback because right after the episode after SummerSlam was when Paul Heyman was introduced. And then we had Payback because there was 1 week in between. And then right after Payback, we had the Wobbling Walrus. Firefly Funhouse. I know my timelines.
Sure.
All right,
I really have to.
So we're going with Firefly Funhouse?
I really like this promo, and it felt like a good return to kind of old-fashioned houses. Not too like storyline based, but very Bray Wyatt based.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah. There was also something, I think I'm just thinking of the Tool, but yeah, no, I'm definitely just thinking about that, the teased kind of stuff in the future. Okay, so Fighter of the Night, Wrestler of the Night, whatever you want to call it. We started off with the Hurt Business versus Retribution, a very chaotic match, but was somehow not the most chaotic match that happened today. You would think an eight-man tag team match would be very chaotic, but the Fatal 4-Way tag team match was even more chaotic. But my pick for this, without a doubt, is Bobby Lashley. Bobby was outstanding today. He looked like a monster just in terms of his skill and how goddamn talented he is. He is ruthless. Not only is he ruthless, but he also adds a little bit of mockery and taunting in his style as well. When he just holds his opponent upright in suplex position for just an extended period of time. I forget who he did it with, but holding it with one hand. I think it was Ricochet. He's
Dio tonight, I believe. Dio or Slapjack.
No. I'm talking about when he held him with one hand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Slapjack tonight. But yeah, he is so good. And then we had AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle. I'll pick Matt Riddle for this. He looked the best in this fight. He looked like he had passion in his eyes. And taking that fall off of the turn pole, whatever it's called, is brutal. But his quick reactions to Jordan, the bodyguard, were so good. He recovered so quickly from it. The man's got talent. And then we had Lana versus Asuka, which neither looked amazing, but I really like Lana. I have faith in her giving us a pay-per-view match similar to what Zelina gave us. But I think today Asuka was the better of the two. But again, neither were amazing. I'm for some reason recently have never been impressed with Asuka. I haven't been impressed since she fought Nia Jax the first time she fought Nia Jax, like right after she fought Charlotte Flair. But since then, it's kind of been downhill for me. And then we had the Fatal 4-Way match between Riott Squad, Dana, Brooke, and Mandy, Rose, Peyton and Lacey, Shayna and Nia. I'll pick Nia for this, mainly because of the night she gives before the Samoan drop. I've very much grown on Nia somehow, even though she was literally my least favorite wrestler. She is now in one of my favorites. Maybe that might be a little bit of a stretch, but I like her a lot. And then we had Sheamus versus Kofi, and Kofi looked like a beast. Kofi looked amazing in this match.
Wow.
He not only had the skill that you should bring in a wrestling match, he also had that personality that the New Day always brings. Every single match, Xavier has it, Big E has it, Kofi has it. It's the magic behind the New Day. And seeing the subtle emotion in his face when he saw Big E on the screen, it was great. Kofi was outstanding today, and I really want to see him and Xavier both continue to do great on Raw. I want to see this feud with Sheamus kind of go on a little bit more, maybe one more week, maybe a second week if they can bring in a tag team for Sheamus. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying Kofi a whole lot. And then we had Miz and Morrison versus Tucker and Otis. I'll go with John Morrison. I mean, what am I going to do here? These fights are never impressive. They're never long. They're entertaining, but nobody is super impressive in these fights. And then we have Braun and Keith Lee, which was just pathetic.
That's bad.
I mean, the fact that it ended based on Braun lifting his head into Keith Lee's balls. Come on, you have two monsters of professional wrestlers in the ring, and the best you can do is just lifting this dude's head into the other dude's balls? Yes, this is the Jaded Podcast. This absolutely is. I'm the jaded one now.
I mean, the fact that we also didn't get to see, like, not that I wanted to see, like, the Strowman Express by any goddamn stretch of the word.
It's a signature.
But we didn't even, like, get to see, like, Struggle Bomb.
I would also want to see what is it? A Spirit Bomb from Keith Lee somehow with Braun. Like that is pay-per-view material. If you can have Keith Lee do a Spirit Bomb onto Braun, that'd be amazing.
That is ring decimating moves. And I don't know why they're holding out on us. I don't know what, like, magnificent pay-per-view match that we are being pulled away from right now, but, like, something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. I'm losing it. How do you... It is basically like somebody saying, here are all the ingredients for mac and cheese, but I've made you a cheese sauce, and I've made you noodles, and so help me God, if you put them together, I'll kill you. It's like...
I guarantee.
I want the mac and cheese. Give me the mac and cheese.
I guarantee you we're going to get nothing from this because there is no motivation behind any of it. It's just going to fizzle out by next week.
Don't say that. Don't say that, please.
This was just Braun's reintroduction to Raw. That was it. It's a way to keep Keith Lee busy too.
I need that to not happen.
But on a positive note, my pick for fighter of the night. I'm gonna say my second place pick too. My second place pick, because I want to acknowledge him even more because of how impressed I am with him. Second place pick is Bobby Lashley. My first place pick, my pick for fighter of the night, is Kofi Kingston.
Oh, thank Christ!
I know whenever I do the second place, you're full of anxiety.
Like, you know all the fun times that we had during, like, 40-hour film competitions? I'd hear the second place and it wouldn't be us, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'll kill myself right here in this auditorium. I'll kill myself right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it feels sometimes. Yeah, I'm definitely picking Kofi Kingston. Hi, Pete. Great fucking match. And he looked phenomenal. I did not think that they could pull this feud together on Raw. Rolling my eyes or being angry. I was really happy. I was really happy with this.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And now, our fight of the night, our match of the night, again, whatever you want to call it. We started off with the Hurt Business versus Retribution, an actually really good match that I really enjoyed. I liked how it ended with The Fiend. It ended with a pin, but then we got into the story a bit afterwards. That's the perfect way to do it, in my opinion. I'm coming around to Retribution, especially with Mustafa. This is great. Hurt Business, I've done a complete 180 on. They're awesome. One of the best things on Raw right now. And then you mix The Fiend just being chaotic. You got a recipe for success right there. And then you had AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle. Although it's just the same storyline we got from SmackDown, this match was great. This match was fantastic. This was two amazing wrestlers coming together and putting on a hell of a match. This was Riddle at some of his best. This was Styles at some of his best. I'm not going to say it is their best because we have seen them at their best. They can always do better, but this was great. And even when there were botches, falls, everything still flowed very well. Everything recovered very well. It could have come off as just part of the whole script. And that just shows how talented they are. I really enjoyed this match. I just wish there was a little bit more story involved. I wish there was a little bit more progress that we got from it, rather than just AJ winning. But you know, we also didn't get that many bro moves. No bro to sleep, no bro Derek, no Broton. Didn't get anything. And then we had Lana versus Asuka. And I've already talked about how much I like Lana. She is great in the ring. Asuka's great too. I know she is. But this match didn't do much. It was good. It wasn't a bad match. What happened?
The cat is putting her claws into my toes and not trying to knock over the tripod.
Nice.
Hi. I know you peed all over yourself today. I know. Very embarrassing for a little cat.
Where was it? Oh, Lana and Asuka. I don't think... I do love that this match ended with Lana being sent into the announce desk again, and I know for a fact that this storyline is going to turn around to be Lana versus Nia. If not Lana and a tag team member, probably Asuka against Nia and Shayna. Because they're 100% setting up for revenge from Lana onto Nia. 100%. But you know, it was an okay match. And then we had the Fatal 4-Way between all the lady tag teams. This whole match just made me mad. This match just made me so mad. Everything about it. Riott Squad being on Raw again. Peyton being matched up with Lacey for some reason, ditching Billy. Dana Brooke. The only light in this is when Nia said night night and did the Samoan drop. That was the only good thing about this match. It was beautiful. The fact that they have Shayna and Nia as just this dominant force in the female tag scene, even though that scene doesn't really exist. It shows that they have some kind of competence. And they're not shoving them to the sidelines just because they're, not traditional. But we have Sheamus and Kofi after that. Great match. Sheamus, fantastic. Sheamus at some of his best recently. I wouldn't say he was quite the bar level, because that is peak Sheamus. But he was still awesome. And then Kofi too was out of his mind. You add in the Biggie watching over everything, Xavier being hyped on the sidelines. This match had it all. I loved everything about this. All so fantastic. And then you had Miz and Morrison versus Toker and Uddis. That should sum up the match for you. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It just was. And then we had Braun versus Keith. This match was about as good as Braun's storyline has been over the past few months. So, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And so, my pick for fight match of the night is Sheamus versus Kofi.
Thank God.
With second place being AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle, third place being Hurt Business versus Retribution.
Yeah, I'm not being in second or third place, but I agree. I love this match. This match actually made me, one, care about the Sheamus New Day feud.
Mm-hmm.
And two, made me feel good about the New Day semi-split.
Mm-hmm.
I was really upset about that. I think a lot of people were. But they made it so that I didn't feel quite as sad. Especially to see Big E in the crowd, so to speak, made me feel a lot better. I really liked it. I thought Kofi looked amazing. Sheamus looked amazing. Xavier was stunning from the sidelines. It was all I could ask for.
And that's it. So to run it back, our promo of the night is the Firefly Funhouse. Our fighter of the night is Kofi Kingston. Our fight of the night is Sheamus versus Kofi Kingston. And Liz, would you like to wrap us out real quick?
I'd love to. All right. Thank you for joining us for this incredibly long, as always, Monday Night Raw podcast. Thank you, Splucha, for joining us. We have missed you. And we love having you in the chat, even though I only got to see you in the chat for 5 seconds because I'm blind 90% of the podcast. But thank you for joining us. And if you are not Splucha and you also joined us tonight, thank you also to you. What are you doing? I hear the cat. She is doing something bad.
And if you enjoyed it, hit that follow button right down below and you'll be notified whenever we go live. And Liz has more to say, so we'll go back to her for a second.
Please, if you enjoyed this just enough, please join us on Monday. Yep. Please join us on Wednesday.
Join us on Monday. Edition.
Please join us on Wednesday for NXT. And then also coming up on Friday is our predictions podcast. Find out who makes more correct predictions. Spoiler alert, it's me. Anyways, now Marcus, if you'd like to wrap us out, let's go.
All right. Again, if you enjoyed, hit that follow button below just to nail it in so you follow. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. What are you doing if you're not subscribed? How are you going to know if a new podcast comes out? They never come out on time. You should know that. And hit that like button, comment, share it. Share it everywhere. Give it to your grandmother. Post it on Facebook. Print out a link. Put it in your dog's mouth and send him out to the park. Do that. And if you have a Twitter, even if you don't have a Twitter, follow us on Twitter.
If you watch it, just take your little headphone, put it in your dog's ear. He might enjoy it.
Yeah, he could. Your grandmother stuck in a coma in the hospital? Put it in her ear too.
Oh my god, I'm gonna pee so bad.
Follow us on Twitter at Pinfall Podcast. Again, you'll be notified whenever we go live. We also post our picks for Fighter and Fight of the Night on there as well, in case you missed an episode but still want to know who wins. And if you're watching live, follow us. Go to our YouTube to check out part of this podcast and our previous ones. The Pinfall Podcast on YouTube. Check us out there. And follow our personal Twitters as well. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza@Elane23. And follow my personal Twitch as well, twitch.tv/Mark Cameron. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Not this coming Friday, though, because I'm working. And we will see you on Wednesday for NXT. Make sure to follow so you will be here right on time and you don't miss a single thing. We'll see you then. Have a great night, everybody.
YouTube picture isn't the same as the every other picture on every other part of our social media. Thank you. We'll never change it.